What's going on, guys? It's just under 6 a.m. right now, 5:44 a.m. if you can see that. I woke up at 5 this morning. I just replied to all you guys' comments in the last video, and I showered, and I'm ready to get to work, guys. I usually don't wake up until like at least 7, in between 7 and 8. And I don't have, today, specifically, I usually wake up that time and go to work at 9. Today, I don't have to go to work till after 12, so it's really just, guys, I am excited. I'm very excited for what I'm doing. I really enjoy this whole YouTube thing, online coaching and everything, and to me, the earlier I can start in the day, the better my day is. I get to do what I love more, and there's just no better feeling, guys. I'm very excited for what the future holds with this whole YouTube thing, and I'm just very excited to get to work every morning because I do exactly what I want to do. Whether I have another job like around the times that I'm working on the computer and doing what I want to do, it's not that I necessarily don't like my job, it's fine, but I don't see myself doing it forever. So every day I try to make sure I become a little bit closer to not having to work at all. So all my work would be done here, obviously, and it's I'm just very excited, guys. Now, obviously, when you wake up this early, it's early on while you're prepping. It sucks because you're probably gonna starve. Because you don't want to eat super early and then, be done eating by like 4 p.m. or something. But I'm not going to go train. I'm not going to go do anything. I'm just going to sit here, do some online work, and yeah, I'm obsessed with this stuff. And as you guys can see, this is why I always wear a hat. Hair's getting long. But I hope you guys can see the passion I have for what I'm doing, because I try to make it clear. I try to make it very transparent of how I feel about what I do, and hopefully it can motivate or inspire some of you to just attack what you want and do what you love, because I'm not the type of person to wake up at 5 in the morning and do anything besides, when I was younger, play Xbox maybe, or wake up at 5 a.m. and go back to sleep, or to eat. Nothing really productive. So me noticing that I'm doing that now is mind-blowing. And it's just that little thing, but the little things are always what makes the biggest deal. And so I'm not really sure what this video is going to be. I know what it's going to be about, but I don't know what I'm going to talk about, what I want to talk about over. Probably some workout footage, but I will see you guys in the next clip. Just thanks for listening to that, I guess. I just had to say that. I'm not a morning person, really. I always get my work done in the morning, but it's late morning, 9. Once I start actual working, emailing clients and checking in and doing any type of YouTube, usually around 9 a.m. So that's what's going on right now. We're gonna make a little pre-workout right now. In this shaker cup, I already have some citrulline malate, well, extra basically. So I'll explain that in a second. I have some citrulline malate. I have some extra agmatine, some taurine, some extra arginine, extra vitamin C, extra beta-alanine, 2 scoops of BioGrow, which is right here, and I'm using a 1 big scoop of 50X for my caffeine today, because I already feel pretty woken up somehow. I think it's just because I'm excited, because I got chest today, chest and shoulders, so I'm going to have 1 big scoop of that right here, and that's the initiation, meaning it's go time. But just figured I'd update you guys. I'm going to take some NO3 as well, because I really like getting pumped on chest and shoulder days. That's where the veins are. And for the next 5 days, I'm going to be running L2, which is kind of like a water supplement for water weight. I ran it before, that's why the seal's broken.
ran it before I went to the beach for 5 days, because this bottle contains 2 5-day cycles. So tomorrow is Monday, so I'm going to run this from Monday through Friday, because the show is Saturday, and it's going to help me kind of lose extra water weight. It's like a natural, it's a supplement diuretic. It's not like an actual diuretic, but really good stuff. I've used it before. I liked it. So I recommend that if you guys ever want to try L2. I don't really talk about it that much. But I guess my table's kind of messy to some people, and I just let me go over what it is really quick. So I have my daily supplements here. I keep some shaker bottles there. And then I have my like gym supplements. So I have like BioGrow. There's some aminos. The Alpha Amino Extreme, L2, 50X. And then I have like the stuff I need in the morning. So I have like everything I have for like coffee. For coffee makers right there. I have some rice cakes and some oatmeal. Green tea bags, cinnamon, some peanuts, and stuff like that. Another shaker bottle, and then there's a bunch of random stuff, baggies, things for measuring, everything. And then this is the moment of sadness in my life when my post-workout protein of choice s'mores. I only got like 1 scoop left. It's gonna be today's post-workout, just that scoop. I might have some like extra like old like optimum protein laying around or something. I might try to fit another scoop of something in there, but luckily I was smart and I ordered ahead of time, so tomorrow morning in the mail I will be receiving 4 pounds of cookies and cream Cellucor Whey and 4 pounds of this right here, the cinnamon swirl, because this is also very empty. And so yeah, so I'm gonna have this pre-workout, and I'm gonna have that scoop post-workout with some more BioGrow, and then let's get to the commentary, guys. Let's talk about peak week.
Right now, you guys are gonna be watching my chest and shoulder workout. It was a pretty medium to high volume workout for me, I'd say. But today I want to talk about peak week. For those that don't know, peak week is the week leading up to a bodybuilding physique, either male or female competition. It's designed so that some bodybuilders or some people participating in some type of competition can peak their physique by either manipulating carbs, training, cardio, water, salt, stuff like that, and doing a variance of the source. So let's get into classic peak week, and then I'll tell you what I'm doing later on. So classic peak week involves a few different things that are kind of taken to the extreme. Layne Norton is a, if you don't know Layne Norton, look him up. He's very, very popular because he's super, super smart. I believe he has a PhD in something, and he is kind of like against this. He doesn't think it's necessary. He thinks it's kind of like broscience almost. And basically, the classic way is to taper down your training, which is normal. You do taper down your training. That way, you don't use up a lot of your muscle glycogen, which is basically like stored carbs for energy. And that's basically going to allow you to stay full. So the things that fill your muscle up when you're kind of bodybuilding to look bigger are carbs and water. And if you do things to manipulate those two, you can look big and lean if done correctly. So what they do is they taper down their training while, since their carbs were low the previous weeks, they slowly carb up throughout the week. So I would say they're still low carb until like Tuesday, and then they carb up all the way to the day of the show. Now with water and salt, what they normally do is they drink normal water, and then they increase the water and they increase the salt. And then as they get closer to the show around Thursday or Friday, they drop the salt and increase the water again, because the more water you drink, the more you flush out, guys. So they drink more water and it flushes more out, and then they're basically holding less water because of that salt. Their body kind of flushes it all out. And then on the day of the show, all they do is sip on water when they get thirsty. That way they don't have a lot of water in their stomach, and they can stay nice and dry and just lean. Now before they step on stage, they get some fast-acting carbs. Some people like dark chocolate, some people like rice cakes with honey, with jelly. Now another thing to really get before you get on stage is something like salt. So like a high sodium meal is really good, along with some type of fat source. So personally for me, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do for the peak week, but for the morning of the show, about 3 to 4 hours before the first show, I'm going to have some type of carb source, probably a sweet potato. That way I can get my potassium up, which is actually good for posing, along with get some carbs.
and then to make sure those carbs can actually go to my glycogen stores very very efficiently, I'm going to be getting my first pump session in about 3 or 4 hours before prejudging. And that's not necessarily like 100% like needed or necessary, but I feel like it definitely helps a little bit. Personally, I noticed that basically I try things when I go to the beach. So I do different peak weeks to peak for the beach, and that's how I kind of figure out what works best for me. So I've learned my body pretty well over the past 2 years for peaking for any event, and so basically I'll do that, and then 20 to 30 minutes before the show, I'm going to be eating rice cakes because they don't bloat me, and I actually get a good amount of like energy and volume and pump from it. That was my phone, guys. Sorry about that. Probably another notification here in a second. I'm assuming, I don't know. And I'm also going to put on honey, peanut butter, and grape jelly on those things because those are fast-acting carbs along with some fats. And the fats are really good just for helping out, filling out. They usually contain a good amount of sodium. And basically, the thing you want to worry about most is make sure you're getting sodium and fats along with carbs before you step on stage. It's very crucial. A lot of people do steak with salt all over it, which is kind of like a broscience thing, but then again, you know, whatever works for you. I don't care if you step on stage after you eat like something random like a funnel cake. If you look better, then do that. So it's very important to never look at someone doing a peak week and say like, oh, that's weird, that he's stupid for doing that, that she's stupid for doing that, because you'd be surprised about the most strange things. I saw online someone was talking about how they saw someone eating cherry pie filling out of the can to pump up, and he gave them like a really good reason why. And so everyone has their own thing that helps them look the best, pose the best, overall anything feel the best. And basically I'll also just be sipping on water before I step on stage. I don't really need that much water in general. But anyway, for peak week, last year I did a very low carb diet throughout my whole prep basically. This year I didn't. I carb cycled in the beginning, and then I slowly just kind of like tapered it down and kept it at a really good amount to where I was pretty satisfied most of the time, but also still dropping weight. And that allowed me to kind of change my peak week up a little bit because I don't necessarily need to carb up all week. So what I'm going to do is kind of like a mid drop and then bring it back up. So since Saturday, Friday, I started my peak week a day early so I get one day ahead of the rest of the competition. So I started my peak week on Friday basically, and I had a pretty good amount of carbs, more than I normally do. And then every day since then, today is technically Monday, it's like 2 a.m. on Monday right now, I've decreased my carbs a little bit, so I've basically just taken out one source of carbs. And I'm going to do that all the way up till Wednesday, and I should be around 0 grams of carbs on Wednesday, and then I'll start to carb load from that point. So Wednesday I'll increase a little bit, Thursday I'll increase a little more, Friday I'll increase a little more, and then Saturday I basically have that 1 serving of carbs before prejudging in the morning, and then right before I step on stage again. And then during the middle of the day I'll probably go like 5 guys or something, because you're basically decided who wins in the morning. However, that 5 guys meal actually usually makes you look like better afterwards because of all the sodium and fats and everything and the carbs. But I don't know, we'll see what I eat in the midday. But basically, as far as peak week goes, there's the classic, which I said, where you manipulate all the salt and water and carb up and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the more modern way, I guess you could say, for peak week, especially for physique, because for physique you don't have to be as lean as you would for necessarily like bodybuilding or something. You still have to be pretty lean, but not as lean, because just the fact you're supposed to look like kind of like beach magazine cover ready versus like shredded as much as possible. I keep looking over there because the video is playing, making sure I'm on track, but basically the more modern way, a lot of people call it the Layne Norton way or the Layne Norton peak week, because he kind of popularized it, at least what I've seen so far, and that is to come in prepared. So basically you keep just about every single thing the same diet-wise all the way up to the day of the show: sodium, water, carbs, except for around like Wednesday to the show day you increase it, but not by as much as you would in the classic kind of way. It's a little bit different. You also are going to taper down your training. Same with both of them, you taper down your training. The reason is, like I said, you don't want to lose too much muscle glycogen. And also it helps not, prevent injuries. You don't want to get injured 3 days before your show when you've been prepping for 12 weeks, you know what I mean? So a lot of people taper down the cardio even because by peak week you should be lean enough. You shouldn't have to do that much cardio. Like I'm starting to taper mine down a little bit. I don't like to do too much tapering down because I hold water very easily, so I like the cardio because it makes me sweat more. But that's just me, and I can manipulate it with food if I need to. So tapering down of the working out is due to that, so you don't lose the muscle glycogen. So basically you would just work out the lower volume, lower sets, lower weights, whatever you do. You just don't crush it as hard as you normally would, you know what I mean? And then as you get closer to stage, like Wednesday through Friday, you want to switch to like a circuit or like some type of circuit workouts where maybe it's an upper body day, lower body day, upper body day, and that should only be like 40 to 60% of your maximum like resistance, not like your 1 rep max, but like 40 to 60% of your actual like work. So with that being said, you're not going to be training as hard as you would as you get closer to the competition, just because you're not going to build muscle, you're not going to get stronger. You're really only working out to burn calories and to kind of like define the muscle, even though it's kind of broscience just saying it. You're basically just getting leaner by working out, and that's really the only purpose of it at the end. And if you're already lean enough, you're basically just going into the gym to make sure you're kind of storing those carbs correctly. And you don't want to overdo it, but you also don't want to underdo it. And that's really going to be up to your coach. It's up to you if you're coaching yourself. And the reason I'm telling you guys my peak week is because I don't really give cookie cutter plans for peak weeks. If someone wants to do a competition training package with me, I wouldn't give them what I do. I would learn their body throughout the whole 12, 14, 16 weeks or whatever they wanted. And then eventually I'd figure out how they want to peak. I wouldn't just say like, oh, this is what I do, you should try it. Because that makes no sense, guys. Everyone responds to everything differently. Today I had 1 rice cake with a ton of salt on it before I went to the gym. And I had an amazing pump, as you guys see in the video. I'm not very vascular at all by genetics. And I was pretty vascular in some of these clips. Some of them you can't see, but some of them you can. And so basically someone like that, not everyone's going to react like that to the salt. However, I feel like a good amount of people would, but not everyone will. So there's just things that people react to differently. But so basically what I was summarizing is the classic way to peak week and the more modern way to peak week. The modern one is a lot more, I guess, friendly to people who are kind of new, because peak week is very hard usually. It's a very hard concept to do. I remember last year I tell the story to everyone because it's pretty funny. I tried to do the classic way to peak week, and it worked very, very well for me. But it was due to the fact that I was going very low carb throughout my prep, so that carb up, no matter what, it was going to help a ton. I had to drink so much water to flush out everything, like to flush out my water weight and the salt and everything, that I had to bring around sriracha sauce and just put it on my tongue and burn my tongue so I would be able to drink more water. And that's to the extreme, guys. You don't want to do that. I did learn a lot that prep hour, so even though that's a negative thing, I'm very glad it happened, because I did learn that there are necessary and there are unnecessary things, and you should really learn your own body before just doing something because someone else was doing it. So it's always important to trial and error everything. So me carb cycling in the beginning of this prep wasn't necessarily to carb cycle to burn fat. It was carb cycling to see how I react to different amounts of different types of carbs. I'm always testing myself, and it works. If you try and see how you react, it's just like pre-workout. You take one certain pre-workout, you go to the gym, you have a great workout. Are you going to stop taking that pre-workout? No, you're probably going to keep taking it because you're having great workouts. It's the same thing with the food. If you eat something and it works well for you, makes you feel good, makes you look good, anything like that, you are going to keep eating it because it just makes perfect sense. Especially like pre and post workout nutrition, if it's working for you, stick to it. Same thing kind of goes with peak week. So don't always look for the cookie cutters, but there are those 2 types of peak weeks. Obviously there's millions and millions of types of peak weeks, so those are the 2 main kind. Usually if they're different, it's usually because there's some sort of variance or some change of those 2. I like to personally go with the hybrid approach, like I was pretty much mentioning, where my carbs are kind of changing throughout the week versus
just having him going steady up towards the day of the show. And another thing is you guys want to really consider is knowing that the consistency is key with more than just the nutrition. So like supplements, your water has already pretty much been adjusted to those supplements, your body, that is how it retains it. So I would stay consistent with almost all supplements up to like maybe Thursday at the earliest. Obviously the day of the show you probably don't need anything, maybe like some type of pump product just to get a better pump on stage. And as far as it goes with posing, you guys want to try to pose just about every single day. The biggest thing is to not overdo it with the posing, because you can get a lot of cramps, a lot of muscle aches, and that's not good because it could potentially ruin your next day or your workout, and it's just not good in general. You just want to pose until you really got the routine down. What I do is I pose, and then once I get my routine down 10 times in a row perfectly, that's when I stop. It usually doesn't take any more than like 20-30 minutes. And the thing with the posing is also that you should probably try to pose with no mirror, because on stage you're not going to see yourself. So you have to learn what you look like without looking at yourself. So the best way to do that is pose in front of a camera and record it, play it back, see what you look like, see what you need to change, and redo it and try to see if it got fixed. So try to do that as well, apply that. Yeah, at the end of this video you're going to see my posing routine. What I like to do with this one is basically it's kind of like a mix between my old routine and I threw in one of Sadiq Hadzovic's moves that he does on stage, and it's pretty cool. It's like this little spin thing. If you're familiar with all this, you'll understand what I mean. But I want to change the second pose I do, which is my right side, my obliques, not my first pose, but the second pose, and then transition from that pose into my back pose. I want to tweak those a little bit, but other than that, I really like the routine. Obviously, there's not that great of lighting in this clip. My hair is not on point, just like it is now. Hope you like my woman's hairband. And also, I'm not like, tanned and pumped and stuff, so it's going to be a little different on stage, but you get the basic idea of what it is. But if you guys want to leave a thumbs up on this video, I do appreciate it. I hope you learned something. If you have any other questions or anything about Peak Week, you just want to say something at all, leave a comment below. I love talking to you guys in the comments. And yeah, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. It really does help spread my channel. And I'm really trying with this YouTube thing. I'm posting on Instagram 2 to 3 times a day, so definitely follow me on Instagram. And I'm also posting on YouTube 3 to 4 times a week right now, while I'm working full-time and prepping for a show. So it's a lot to balance, but I'm handling it best as I can. That's why it's 2 a.m. and I'm doing this right now. It's for you guys, so also for me, because I do love doing this. So hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment, and please subscribe if you have not already. You will not be disappointed. You'll definitely find a lot of my videos either helpful, informative, entertaining, whatever you think. But thank you guys for watching. I'm going to do some vlogging tomorrow, and there should be a video up as well tomorrow or the next day. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. All my links are in the description if you want to follow me, along with online coaching, where you can also sign up for my free newsletter. So thanks for watching, guys.